What is going on, y'all? This is like a little nighttime drive-by as I'm heading to the gym. This video, I want to discuss how emotionally unavailable parents can potentially cause their children to chase after emotionally unavailable partners, romantic partners, when they're adults in the future. Because when I look at myself and a lot of my associates, friends, and even some of my family members, a lot of us are attracted to what's not good for us because that's all we know. When you grow up in a household where you have inconsistent parents that are emotionally unavailable, they're not there for you emotionally, and a lot of times they're not there for you physically, literally. They're not even in the same household. You don't see them. Or if you do see them, they're in and out of your life. So it's very inconsistent, which can literally cause you to have a dysregulated attachment style, and which also can lead to you potentially having an anxious attachment style, or you also can become emotionally unavailable and have that dismissive attachment style because it's based off of what you grew up with. A lot of us, all we saw was just chaos and confusion growing up. I mean, it is what it is. When I look at my personal setup growing up, I was raised by my grandparents. My mom would be there when she could be there, but then the vast majority of the time, she was in and out. I would go months, half a year without seeing her. You know what I'm saying? And so then when she was around, I thought, okay, you know, I don't know how long she's going to be here, so let me be on my best behavior. So now you're sitting up here basically learning to have a very, you see love as a very conditional way, right? Because you're sitting up here performing and trying to prove that you're a good kid, so mommy, daddy doesn't leave. They stay and they pick you, or if they do decide to leave, they take you with them. That's what you're doing as a child. I cannot stress it enough. Y'all need to learn how to have abortions. This is why I'm pro-abortion. Stop having kids that you know good and well you don't have the finances to take care of. You're not mentally stable. You're not in a healthy relationship. You're not even emotionally available and emotionally mature to raise that child. It's not fair to those kids to have to constantly put up with your immaturity and chaos. And then you wonder why so many of us are broken adults. So many of us are running around dealing with the same mess as adults, chasing after emotionally unavailable, dismissive, avoidant partners, because that's all we know. We end up talking to people that also don't know how to communicate, lie, manipulate, gaslight, and use you. You turn into a people pleaser because you're trying to kiss that person's ass, so they pick you like you wanted your mom or your dad to pick you as a child. I'm just being real. You end up picking, your partner is basically your mom or your dad or your parental figure in a romantic partner. That's what's happening. Because when I look at how I've been, I'm going after people who basically treat me just like my mom. You know, you have to buy her happiness. You have to buy her to want her to be around you. You know, she literally will not want shit to do with you if you're not doing something that's going to be beneficial to her. So you end up attracting the narcissistic types. I'm just being real. And everything is a performance. And that's not fair to that child. And it's not fair to the adult who is a grown-up still looking for the love that they should have received from their deadbeat ass parents. A lot of us are still those little kids in adult bodies trying to get mommy and daddy's approval. And this is what they mean by the mommy and daddy issues. A lot of us have them. And a lot of these, and I'm just going to say it, a lot of these dudes have severe mommy issues, and it shows because they're sitting up here expecting whoever they're talking to baby them, to coddle them, you know, wham, wham, boo, boo. You need help? You need love? Let me cook, let me clean, let me do this, let me do that. Because they looking for a mama, you know? Or you have the dude who He only acts right when you are mean to him because he grew up in a household where his mom was very disrespectful and emotionally and verbally abusive to him. So the only love that he knows is getting cussed out, silent treatments, being told he ain't about shit. Because that's all he knows. This is why they always say with a lot of these dudes, when you're nice, loving, and caring, they step all over you and they treat you like garbage. But when you treat them like shit, that's when they want to be on their best behavior. And again, this is because of that mama wound. A lot of these people have severe mom and dad wounds. And a lot of us do too. And this is exactly why, in my opinion, you need to learn how to be single until you can fully heal. Because all it is, tricking yourself into thinking that you've made it through, but then you still end up attracting the same ain't about shit ass people because you're still operating from a place of hurt, operating from a place of trauma. You need to just stay single. And I'm also going to say this, stop having sex as well, because a lot of people have sex with folks, catch feelings, and then it makes it difficult for you to leave that person alone because you're so attached to the sex. And a lot of times people who are unhealed, that's the only thing they're bringing to the table is sex, because that's the only real type of intimacy they can provide. They're not attached, they're not available, that's just it. They're not emotionally available to themselves, so how are they going to be emotionally available to anybody else? And a lot of us need to really start understanding that instead of being so surprised that we keep running into shit that we don't want. Now, I will say this. I do feel like you start noticing that you are doing a hell of a lot better when you're able to recognize the red flags and leave on your own free will versus you going through a constant heartbreak. Because when I look at this time around, I left on my own. I didn't sit up here and wait around to get discarded, to continue to get used and used and used and used. Yes, it took me a minute, but I got on down. And I wasn't overly attached this time either, because I knew all along I'm non-monogamous. I'm not sitting up here putting all my eggs in one basket for this very reason. But as I re-examine, it shouldn't, I can be honest with myself. It shouldn't have taken me 14 months to see that this was going absolutely nowhere. Okay, I saw this shit a year ago. So, moving forward, I'm going to be single for a while. I'm going to be practicing celibacy for a while. Because again, I'm not getting anything out of sex. I'm just not. Especially with me being an intersex trans man, at the end of the day, I'm constantly sexualized and fetishized. So it really doesn't benefit me to be participating in hookup culture, because that's how people are treating me any damn ways, as just as somebody's damn booty call. So, sneaky link. So that doesn't really benefit me. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So to me, over time, you have to start checking your own stuff instead of sitting up being surprised after the fact when the red flags were already in your face. We have to do better on our own. We have to be accountable to ourselves. And again, it takes time, but I'm gonna recommend that a lot of us stay single, go to therapy, counseling, and really practice self-love. Practice being emotionally available for ourselves, because that's another thing. We're not emotionally available either. Because if we were, we wouldn't want to be going after people that can't reciprocate our efforts. You know what I'm saying? So, and then two, work on getting a secure attachment style. Because if you had a secure attachment style, you wouldn't be interested in chasing anybody any damn way. You know what I'm saying? So, the gist of this video is really just to point out, emotionally unavailable parents will have you chasing after emotionally unavailable partners. And then you yourself are more than likely also emotionally unavailable.